right, so the intake is, all the components of it are right here in front of you. The only thing that doesn't come in the box is what you have to order is your pre-filter, and I highly recommend that I put it on every air intake that I've had before, and I will show you how this goes on later on in the video. The very stout, very awesome air filter that they provide to you, it's a dry air filter, meaning it's not oiled, and it's highly recommended with turbo applications. It mounts directly to the lid that the COBB engineered to match with the stock cold air box, and I will show you why that design is very successful and very important. You get couplers and all the hardware. You also get the piping that goes in, and you get two separate pipes, and those are to equalize the pressure in the air and to make sure they're designed to keep the air as cool as possible, and to also make sure that there is no reduction in the air velocity when it hits the turbo. So the first step that I would recommend you do is you start with this rubber gasket, foamy rubber gasket that COBB provided, and it goes only one way to seal the top of the lid where the factory one does not come with it. And you just peel the 3M cover tape in the back, and then you put it on, and this one is to keep the pressure inside the box and to make sure that you don't get any contaminants or water or mud while you're off-roading. Now that you've secured the gasket on, the second thing you're going to do is, you see these holes here, there's 6 of them, and you're going to remove the pre-installed hex screws with a 5/32 Allen wrench, or you can use a socket like I'm going to use right here. Remove them. We're going to install the filter into the top lid, tighten it a little bit, and then get going with the rest of the install. The first thing I did, if you actually did what I did and bought the pre-filter, which is really important if you off-road your truck, it keeps all the larger particulates out, it extends the life of your filter between cleanups, and you can just take it off, clean it, put it back on in about 10 minutes. Next step is you remove the clamps off the front to make it easier and possible for you to slide it in, and you're going to line up the holes on the filter with the holes on the lid. So you make sure that the tall side is upwards, because we're holding the lid upside down, and you slide it in and push it out like that. The next thing you do is you take your 6 screws and you put them and line them up with the holes on the filter. Now that I've put all the 6 screws in, and you kind of tighten them in a diagonal way so you can keep them tight, and just don't over tighten them. Make sure that when you put the clamps on, you put them upwards so you can get a hold of them and tighten them easier than if you do put them in a different direction. All right, now we've assembled the top lid. I cleaned my bottom lid before I'm going to install my air filter. I vacuumed everything out, wiped it down really nice. You're going to slide the grooves into the stock position where they would normally go. COBB made sure to keep this to stock spec for the design, and they had a reason for that. They pressure tested this intake, and then they pressure tested this intake quite a bit. Again, watch how I have my clamps indexed upwards so I can tighten them when I put the pipes on. The way the ram air system on the Gen 2 Raptor stock comes in and works very, very efficiently. It brings the air in, it brings it in a tighter opening. You really don't want it to be a big, large opening, because it'll slow the air velocity that's going into the air intake. And if the air intake box is too large, it'll also lower the pressure inside that you want to keep the pressure high, so it doesn't affect the way the turbos are going to spool or cause any turbo surge. So I'm going to use one of their couplers. I've already put the clamps on it, kept them kind of loose. You don't really want to tighten them. The larger opening, of course, is going to go this way. It's going to fit on the stock inlet right here. I'm gonna gently put this over and press it on there all the way until you can't press anymore. I'm gonna use an 8mm socket, and I'm going to
not do that.
If you look where I put my clamp, I like to put it real close, but give it about 1/16 of an inch away. That way it keeps the air roll tight on there and it should not come off at all. So now we're going to install the elbow, and you can see there are little holes for the screws, and this is where the bracket is going to attach to link both pipes that were provided. So you're going to take your elbow, the downside goes into this inlet, and then the top side goes into your top lid. What I'm going to go ahead and do is loosen my top lid a little bit. That way if I need to move it up and down or maneuver it, I could. So I'm going to slide this in first. Then I'm going to lift this up a little bit to help put the pipe in there, and then you'll see it goes in real nice and easy. And then the second pipe, it's bent in a way where you always want this side where the bracket mounts towards you, towards the front of the truck. I put the other clamp on. I left this side loose because the way it's going to go, one is going to go in here and one is going to go there. And this is going to help you big time because you're going to want both of these to line up together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this in first. Before I forget, I went ahead and removed the mass air sensor. You put it in, you can look through from this side just to see it lining up. You push in and then you turn to the right. It locks just like factory style. It fits actually perfect. So I had this put on there. Kind of the most time consuming, it's a real simple install, is to make sure that everything lines up since you have two different tubes. You kind of want to bring these close together where you can put the plates and mount them. So I left some of the fittings a little bit loose to make sure that I have room to put the plate where it's supposed to go. I'm going to put the plate back on, make sure all the adjustments are right. I'm going to then take it off and then tighten all the clamps back on. Don't forget to attach your mass sensor before you start the vehicle. You don't want to get that check engine light. Make sure this is secured and fastened, and it goes right in and again in the stock position. All right, the project is complete. I would estimate about an hour to do this with minimal wrenching skills. You're not removing any of the stock components, and you're keeping all the lower box in place. You set up your air filter first through the top lid. Remember, you're assembling it upside down. Then you come and put all your couplers onto your pipes. Remember how the bends go from this video. If you need to, you can always go back, rewind and pause for some pieces. This is the finished product. It's very sturdy. It doesn't really move around a whole lot. However, the couplers allow plenty of movements if the engine were to flex with them. Great design. It complements very, very well already the stage 2 kit. It's part of the stage 2. Hopefully coming soon, we'll be able to show you guys the stage 2 plus, which is inclusive of the cold air intake from COBB, their large intercooler that we've installed, and you can look at that video on our channel as well. And if you have any questions, or if you have any comments or concerns, or you want to hear even a sound clip, I will play you a sound clip at the very end of the video that you can hear on this intake. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions or you're looking for this particular product, make sure you write me. I will leave my email and a link for the product on our website in the description below. We'll see you later.